exposed of having no O line. That looks like they're short-term planning, even though they had long-term prospects.
They thought they could band-aid this shit. And the reality is you can't band-aid something important like that when you have a rookie quarterback. So yeah, they were short-sighted for sure.
So they always like to go off the scrap heap when it comes to the positions of need. For once, they finally go all in on a QB and receivers, but now that they've need the protection and need time for plays developed, they went the cheap route, and now they're exposed and can't even use those weapons that they got.
Well, and right now, what weapons really? I mean, right now it still looks like the same Bears offense. DJ Moore and not a lot else going on.
That is true. There are no weapons right now. They can't even run the ball like they did the last couple of years, and I wonder why that is.
Well, RB1 is certainly gone, and this Detroit Lions trash heap leftover that we picked up, he isn't working. He's not a hard runner. I want to see some Khalil Herbert.
I think you're right. There's no one to go for those tough runs, those tough yards that they used to have, that they used to get, but now they go down at the first sight of contact. There's no RB1 to make defense guess about who has the ball and who's running. They're not looking for a pass right now. They're not looking for anything right now. And that's because our O-line is really good.
There's one guy looking for something.
Who's that?
Caleb Williams looking for some help.
He is looking for some help there. See, Caleb Williams from USC, Heisman winner.
I don't think he's the problem.
I don't think he is at all. He hasn't ever had any problems, not even in college.
I think it's probably all these trash heap offensive linemen. They've never proven anything in the NFL that are the problem.
Not one time. None of these offensive linemen, they were on point, but now, they were great for RB1. They did everything they could. That group was Super Bowl ready. They gave all sorts of protection to the prior QB.
I mean, did he ever get sacked?
Not one time. I think he had a minimum 10 seconds to throw the ball each time.
Oh, easy. I mean, that's why he was the longest, from snap to pass quarterback. Mm-hmm. He had all day. Why wouldn't he be the longest?
Like the O-line for the Bears the last few years gave him all sorts of time. He just could not, read the field. When you have, 15 seconds to read the field, you would think you'd be able to find your progressions, but he couldn't do it. This O-line is treasured of the Bears. It's really good stuff, and now they're not producing.
So it's got to be something.
Right.
What is it? Is it the coaching?
This is coaching. They have that DEI hired O-line coach.
Morgan? Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's got to be the only reason why he's in the league, right?
Yeah, it's obviously the reason he's in the league. He couldn't get there on his own. So they had to use, any Rooney Rule or DEI reason to get him. He's benefited off of that his whole entire life. And now the Bears are paying the price for it.
Yep. Well, hey. You play those dumb games,
mm-hmm.
you get dumb results. And that's where the Bears are at right now.
Right, exactly. You go DEI, you go for some losses. And that's what the Bears are trying to do right now. And
they're suffering.
Right.
And it's sad because they did so many things right to try to help Caleb,
mm-hmm.
but they really screwed the pooch on the biggest thing, protecting him.
Right. And, it goes back to the O-line coach.
We've seen this story before.
We sure have.
We've seen it, and I'm tired of seeing it. I don't want to see him, ending up going down the same road as all, and we're not gonna go down the list of them all. We'll be here forever.
Right.
But I don't want him to start seeing the ghosts.
Right.
And get ruined already.
Exactly, because, once a QB gets sacked a few times as a rookie, that means they will never have any confidence ever again.
Which brings us back to a thought that some people had. I'm not going to name names or calling one out, but some people had the thought of, letting him sit for a year behind a veteran, learn. Maybe let the veteran take all these brutal hits and get wrecked instead of him.
But you forgot he's generational. That means he's immune to.
Well, that's
like
what we were told too. Yeah.
When you're generational, that means you're godlike.
Mm-hmm.
That means you don't have you're not susceptible to human.
Which brings us back to Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Kind of the last generational quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
He threw all those interceptions, and that's what he needed.
Yeah,
we
he
talked
learned.
about this last
Yeah,
episode.
We sure did.
And so Caleb last game, he threw some interceptions.
He did. I'm proud.
And that's
of
going
him.
to be good in the long term. That's going to be good. He learned some things from him. I guarantee it.
I'm proud of Caleb. He listened to us.
We did predict that. We, not to toot our own horn, but
yeah, he knows that he couldn't throw almost interceptions because those weigh you down. You don't learn from an almost interception. You have to go the whole way and throw a real interception.
And since we're kind of on the subject of kind of the psyche of bears and everything, we actually have an expert here on the show. First time, this is only episode 2 and everything, but we're going all out. We're improving things here, and we've brought in an expert to talk about bears.
You morons, pretty lucky.
Yeah. And please welcome Dr. McLowenstein.
Welcome, Doctor.
Can you talk to us
Thank you.
about kind of the psyche of a bear, and what
The bears, what do they do here?
Well, the last thing you want to do is be on your back.
Okay.
Don't go to your back.
Yeah, you don't want to get tackled.
You don't want to get tackled.
That makes sense. You don't want to get tackled. Okay.
So,
What else can you tell us?
How do the bears get out of this?
Well, if I was a bear, typically you see bears go buck wild
Yeah.
and
Sure.
be aggressive
Mm-hmm.
and corner their prey
Mm-hmm.
and then maul them to death.
I mean, yeah, okay. That's.
I mean,
I've heard. Yeah.
the bears. They're all the monsters of the Midway.
Monsters of the Midway.
So they maul
That makes sense.
maul their opponents. How do the bears fix their offensive woes here? What do they do? How can Caleb get some help here?
Well, that's a rather complicated question, so it deserves a complicated answer. Don't suck.
So all the bears got to do, everybody just
Stop sucking.
Stop sucking. Life is not a bottle.
I kind of think that makes sense. Maybe the offensive line just needs to kind of nut up and be men and stop sucking.
They can't just pretend to
be high T.
Right. Maybe instead of sucking, they need to blow more.
Well, they need to get shot up more with the T.
Or be more motherly. Mother bears, while they're cub rearing.
I think there's been a confusion, Doctor. This is a sports show.
Yeah, this is
maybe
Do
we
I
missed.
still get paid?
No, there was
we
never
don't-
any talk about pay, man.
because we barely get paid.
Yeah.
We're stars of the show. But you can hang around for an autograph.
We
Okay.
you want
You can
you want
buy a
some,
beer,
some
ride
Jack
home.
Daniels or
It's better than nothing.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
all right.
So,
Well, all right.
we learned a lot there about the bears. We know.
We gotta be careful who we email just based off of first glance, I guess.
Yeah, we just can't. You just can't. Not all bears are not made the same. Like this O line of the bears. Enough about the O line. They suck. And we learned that you can't suck.
And speaking of suckage, we can just go ahead and talk about Sunday night's debacle, offensive debacle.
And now,
Well, the way some people are talking about it,
I'd say that
we might differ.
yeah, I'd say the debacle starts with the D, which is D line. And the D line, they really played their hearts out, didn't they?
They try,
And
they just don't get the pressure.
they just
That's
look
needed.
lost out there.
The defense as a whole looks a little like it's still kind of gelling.
Yeah.
It's early in the season. I get that.
They're trying to get.
But
to
the
know
offense
each
has had to carry them for 2 weeks
They
now,
sure have.
and
the offensive line showed
that's not
the
Bears
defense.
football.
The offensive line showed the defense how it's done. That's how
Yep.
it's supposed to look.
Right.
The defense needs to be looking at the offensive line's tape from that game and learn this is how a line works. This is how
They
how
should
it's
almost
supposed
do like a buddy system where like one member of the O line and one member of the D line like hang out for a week, just so that the D line can kind of see how it's done.
because I was looking at that game and I was just proud of the O line. They were They were there out there in the field.
Nate Davis, shout out.
Yeah, hardest
Hardest
worker in
lunch
the room.
pail. Lunch pail.
Hard hat type of guy.
Yep.
First one in, last
Stacey
one out.
King would approve.
It's Nate Davis is right there.
Might be the best move that Ryan Poles has made.
Yeah, that's why he's called King Poles.
Right.
When he signed Nate Davis, we were able to call him King Poles from that.
Jester Poles.
Now he's Poles is showing us how it's done. He got the world class O line. He's working on D line. Defense needs a lot of help there.
Bright side though, Caleb Williams looked great.
He looked great, firing on
Looked
all
amazing.
cylinders. I mean,
The footwork,
yes,
the vision,
the progressions.
yeah.
How about
it was
how about that
it was
fast
surgical.
release?
It was surgical.
How about that fast release he has?
Very quick release.
I think
It goes a lot of places.
It does.
But man, is it quick.
And I would say, we talked about almost interceptions, but, in a close second for the most important stat is quick release.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If
you're getting it out in under 2.75, I think
Yeah.
is what they say.
Yeah.
And he was at like 2.51 or something.
Yeah, that wins you the
Oh
game.
man.
You don't have to even really look at the score.
I
anymore.
know me personally watching it, that's what I was thinking the entire time was, man, is he getting that ball out quick.
Yeah.
We are crushing them.
Crushing them. Almost interceptions are down. Quick releases.
Real
up.
interceptions are up though.
Yeah, real
That's
interceptions
great.
are up. And it's I was just my cup runneth over with good stats. Because it doesn't matter how many points are on the scoreboard as long as that quick release is quicker than the others.
Well, and if it wasn't for the points that the offense did put up, that game would not have been as close as it was.
Yeah, offense put up monster amount of points. Like I said, I was a little disappointed in the defense. They really didn't pull their weight. They refused
and special teams. I mean, that's one of those special teams games where you take the film of it and you just ball that shit up and throw it out if you're the coach and just say, guys, we got to start over and get back to the basics.
Yeah, maybe is it too late for them to go back to training camp and get some new people for special teams and defense for that matter?
Poles will find some guys off the scrap heap. It's what he does best.
He needs to.
There'll be guys though that he scouted like 10 years ago that might have even been good 10 years ago though. But now
but they're obviously better than what we have.
there's
now.
a reason they're available. Let's just say that.
Because D-line, not good. Secondary, not good. Just nothing good on defense. I mean, the Houstons, they scored 19 points. That's
about 19 too many.
Yeah, that's everyone
Makes
knows.
it hard to win.
Yeah, everyone knows that you have to shut out your opponent.
Bears football.
That's Bears football. You shut out your opponent every game. If the final score is 0-0, then the Bears won because that means they shut out their opponent. They don't have to score.
There's nothing more satisfying than a 2-0 win.
2-0 win. I'll take it every day of the
Oh
week.
man. City of Chicago just simultaneously creams if that ever happens.
Exactly. It's a shame that the Bulls haven't learned that as well. They could have learned that all it takes is great defense. Scoring, there was icing.
Well, we'll save the Bulls talk for
yeah.
maybe 8 years when they're actually good and relevant
Yeah,
again.
I'm getting off. Thanks for keeping this on discussion here. But yeah, D-line, disaster. Defense, disaster.
Quarterback though,
Quarterback,
and that's what you want. You want to see that number one pick showing out, and he
quick
looked
release,
great.
Quick release, real interception.
Which brings us to this coming week's game, everyone, against the Colts. Giddy up.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite teams. I love looking at the Colts.
I gotta say, after seeing Caleb's performance this week, I see no reason why he's not gonna just torch them for 180 yards and no touchdowns and 2 or 3 picks.
2 or 3.
I mean
that's
the bar.
You're putting a lot of
I know
a lot of pressure on the kid here.
I expect a lot from him.
180 yards. I think we can.
Hey,
I think we can put maybe 120 yards on there, maybe 3 or 4 picks, maybe 15 rushing yards, a lost fumble.
I think if that's your over under on rushing yards, I'm going over. And I'm betting big.
I mean, is he still trying to learn this game? I mean, we don't want to.
Well, I mean, he's going to be running for his life, you know.
Oh yeah, he is. Maybe he will be running backwards, but because I know as soon as he hikes the ball, this O line that won't protect him, you might as well just run back for a safety.
He'd be a lot safer.
Yeah, that's why they call
Be
it
a lot
safety.
safer. Yeah.
That's why they call it safety because you know it's safe.
Uh-huh.
But I love the Colts. I can't get enough of them. Speaking of the Colts, you know,
DeForest Buckner's out.
yeah. So
That's going to hurt the Colts, but you know they're loaded on the D line.
yeah,
When you think Colts, you think strong defense.
exactly. I like the Colts a lot. You know, they have a lot of weapons there. They
I can name like all one or two of them.
yeah, a lot of
They're loaded.
yeah, a lot of weapons there. Bears are in the fight of their lives, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
I think you know, the season might hang on this game.
They need to bounce back. Show that they're Eberflus is a defensive guy, and it's time that the defense shows up.
Yeah, Eberflus needs to shake his his DEI anchor that he's got tied
That's
to
going
him.
back to the O line, and I
Yeah.
mean that's
Eberflus.
that's going great.
Eberflus, pull some strings. To
That
get
guy's
things
going to
going.
end up with Eberflus's job in another year or two,
Right.
guaranteed.
Because our O-line, the strength of the Bears, and they're going to have their way at the Colts. I mean, Colts don't stand a chance. Caleb's,
Colts are great though.
yeah, Colts are really good. They got that one guy.
Anthony Richardson.
He's thrown some football. before.
He's thrown a football or two, and he's run over a guy or two. He's had a concussion or two. He's ready to roll.
And I think he limits his almost interceptions as well.
Yeah. He throws the real ones, so he's actually learning too.
Learning all the time. Student of the game.
Yep. He's actually a great model for Caleb Williams to look towards.
I think so. Maybe they can hang out after the game.
I think you could learn a lot.
Yeah,
If you don't already have his number, get it.
you need to get it, Caleb. I mean,
Get it.
you're up against you already beat the Titans. I was going to say you're up against a Titan of a team, but you already somehow beat the Titans.
Already slayed them.
Yeah. Great game.
Mayo boy.
Yeah. You destroyed them. But I'll say in closing, we could talk about the Colts all night. We both
They're
love
great.
the Colts.
They're likely to dominate this game and win.
But I'm expecting a big Bears turnaround after that dominant loss. Well, rather dominant win-loss because he really won the game, but
Won the
they
development.
won development. So that's what really matters. Bears in a heartbreaker. I'm gonna say 38, Colts 30.
Yeah. I mean, I think a heartbreaker makes a lot of sense. I think it's actually going to be a blowout, though. I mean, it's going to be one team shows up, one team doesn't. And for that reason, I'm going Bears 20 and the Colts 18.
Oh wow, that is a blowout.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
you're
I
not
know.
giving the Colts any credit there.
I know.
That's
I mean, hey, Caleb's going to light it up, man.
and this dominant O-line, I think I'm feeling better about the Bears already. So, that being said, morons, you've been educated. Thank you.